Welcome to Brooke Does Yoga. My name is Brooke. Let's do some yoga together. Today's class I'm classifying it as an intermediate level flow. That is simply because it is a little bit more athletic and dynamic, and it will be easier to approach if you have an existing yoga practice, if you have some familiarity with the poses and the pose names. That being said, it is absolutely okay to continue this video as a new or beginning yoga student, particularly if you like to learn on your feet or you're looking for a challenge. Props that you might want for today's class include 2 yoga blocks or block alternatives. It will probably be useful to have something relatively sturdy and block-shaped-ish for today. Something like a book might do well, or a Tupperware container. So anything like that, find something around the house. Honestly, even like a pillow, if it's about that wide, would be good. And then you may also want some kind of blanket, pillow, towel to sit on in some of the seated postures. If you don't already have them, go ahead and grab your props, and we will meet all the way down on our backs on our mat. Come all the way down onto the back. Take a nice big breath. And then hug both of your knees in towards your chest. Maybe the knees come out wide, a little bit more towards the armpits. Maybe they hug in close together. Just feel into the hips and the back a little bit here. And then take your right leg out long on the mat. Hug your left knee closer to your chest. And with your right hand on top of your left knee, bring your left knee all the way across your body over towards the right side of your mat. It can either rest down onto the floor, or if it doesn't quite make it there, grab one of your blocks and simply rest the leg down on the block, just so that there's something to support it here. And see if you can place the block to sort of equally prop the leg here. We don't want the foot falling down and the knee lifting. If you have to, if your prop's not quite big enough, I would say place it closer to the foot and keep the foot a little bit more elevated than the knee here. But if you can, keep them equal. And then as you start to breathe in this twist, just notice if you can feel the breath in your low belly, maybe even your low back. Soften your left shoulder down towards your mat. See if you can find the outer edge of your collarbone, sort of where your collarbone meets your shoulder. And maybe release that a little bit. And then in your mind's eye, find the very top of your left hip bone and give it a gentle press forward towards your left heel. Maybe you feel the whole side body expand a little bit when you do that. And as you breathe, you might start to feel your ribs expand and move with your breath. Good. On your next inhale, bring your left knee all the way back to center. Hug your right knee in next to your left knee. And then take your left leg out long. Hug the right knee in. Left hand to right knee. Bring the right knee all the way across the body. Maybe you take that block with you. And let the leg rest on either the floor or your block or block alternative. And then again here, just start to tune in. You might feel different on this side than the last side, that's okay. Just notice. Try to get really interested in the little idiosyncrasies of your body as a whole and from side to side. Notice if it's easier or more difficult to breathe down into your low belly here. Relax the outer edge of your collarbone down towards the mat on that right side. Relax the jaw, relax your forehead. And then in your mind's eye, find the very top of your right hip bone and give it a little press towards your right heel. Let the side body, the space between your right hip and your right shoulder, get longer. One more deep breath here. Maybe you feel your ribs on the sides of your body start to expand outward and widen. And then on your next inhale, bring your right knee back to center, your left knee in next to your right knee. Good. And then find that block alternative, whatever prop you're using. And we're going to place this in between the thighs on the long way here. So whatever prop you've got, see if you can keep the knees right on top of the hips so that the legs are really at, sort of a neutral hip width distance apart. So if your book isn't this thick, maybe grab 2 books or look for a thicker book. Again, this could be a pillow. You could even take your blanket and fold it up kind of small and stick that right in there. So you've got options. Find your way here. And then parallel the shins to the floor, so you've got approximately a 90-degree angle. You'll probably start to feel the belly turn on. Press your low back down into the mat. Find your pelvis and equally weight your pelvis on the right and left sides down. And then interlace your hands behind your head and relax your elbows towards the floor. This might be enough work, just staying here, rooting the low back down, firming your belly, and releasing the elbows. You might start to drop your toes down towards the mat, keeping the low back sealed down to the mat. Inhale to bring them back up. Your exhale takes the toes down. Maybe this is as far as you can go with the low back on the mat. Maybe the toes come all the way down to tap. Good. Continue like this, exhaling to bring the legs to or towards your mat, inhaling to bring them back up to a 90-degree. If this is pretty easy and you can bring the toes all the way down while keeping the back fully sealed to your mat, you might start to straighten the legs. That's going to be a little bit more work. And again, they might not come down all the way. Only go as far as you can keep the back sealed down to the mat. Good, let's do 3 more. Good, and on your next inhale, go ahead and remove your block. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And then take a little rock and roll on the spine and find your way up to a seat. We'll take an easy cross-legged seat here. Go ahead and grab that block or block alternative if you left it behind. And you may want to sit up on a blanket here. I'm going to turn to face you for this section. Good. Just for a moment here, let's pause. Take a moment just to close the eyes or let them start to gently unfocus. Notice the energy in your body. Notice the way that you're breathing. Notice your heartbeat. Try not to assign any kind of label or judgment to any of those things, good or bad. Just notice. And as you sit in this cross-legged position, make the legs a little bit more active. Reach your knees down towards the floor. You might start to feel a little lift happen through the belly as you do that. A lot of times we put the work of this pose into our little hip flexor muscles. We let our belly and our legs kind of relax and get lazy. And if we just put a little bit of that work into the legs, it kind of kick-starts a positive muscle interaction here to give us a little bit more space in our hips. And then from that lift in the belly, feel the heart reach upward, feel the spine stack easily. Good, let your eyes gently flutter open if they closed. Inhale, reach the hands up high. On your exhale, take a twist to the right. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee, your right hand down behind you. Inhale, both hands up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Good. Inhale center. Exhale right. This time stay. As you work into a deeper twist here, see if you can breathe down into your low back and expand your low back wide so that it reaches towards the right and the left. Let your gaze go over your back shoulder. Good. And then bring the palm of your left hand to that right knee. Keep it there as a nice strong anchor. Give a little press of that right knee into the left hand. And then lift your right hand up and overhead. Take a little side bend. Almost like you're hanging off of that hand and knee connection. Expand the side body really long. Good. And then keep the hand exactly where it is. Bring your top hand down to the opposite knee. So the elbows are crossed in front of you. And then start to bend the elbows a little bit. Let the back of your heart get wide. Round your spine in. Drop your chin towards your chest. Inhale, come back to center. Release the arms up high. And then as you exhale, bring your hands back behind you. Even if you're sitting on a blanket here, they can come behind. Turn the fingertips either out towards the sides of your mat or in towards your hips. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat. And then press down into your hands and feet to find a reverse tabletop pose. If it feels okay on the neck and the shoulders, you can drop the head back behind you. Deep breath in, reach the hips up. Full breath out. One more, inhale. Exhale, bring the hips back down to your mat or blanket. And then cross your legs in the opposite way as last time. Good. Inhale, reach both hands up high. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left and stay. Check back in with the legs. Let them be a little bit more active, reaching down towards the floor. Spread your low back right to left. Send your gaze over your back shoulder. And take a deep breath all the way down. Bring the palm of your right hand to your left knee. And then inhale, reach your back hand up and overhead, side stretch. Making that space from the top of your hip bone to your shoulder a little bit longer. We might play with the neck a little bit here. Good. And then that top hand comes all the way around to the opposite knee. And we'll upright the spine to center, arms are crossed. Give a little bend of the elbows, round your spine in, drop your chin to your chest, deep breath in. Full breath out. One more. Inhale, come up to center, reach the hands up high. Exhale, once again, take the hands back behind you and find that reverse tabletop. Good. From here, start to shift your weight slightly over towards the left. Lift your right foot off the floor. Great. Set it back down. Lift your left foot off the floor. And set it back down. If your fingers are turned towards your feet, turn your fingertips out to the sides. Once again, lift your right foot off of the mat. And then spin yourself all the way around and find a tabletop pose, regular tabletop. If you want your blanket to pad your knees, you can leave it there, or you can simply set it off to the side. And then also bring your blocks to about the center of your mat so that they're easily accessible from any angle. And then in your tabletop pose, just kind of settle in here. Plant your hands well, spread your fingers wide. We've already done some spinal movements, but listen into your body and feel anything that's still in there. Maybe you want some hip circles, maybe you want some neck rolls, maybe you want some side bending. Any little movements here. Good. And then find your nice strong tabletop. Shoulders right over wrists, little hug up through the low belly. Extend the crown of the head forward. Beautiful. From here, with this nice strong belly, take your left toes towards the back of your mat. Your leg extends. Check in with the low belly. Keep that lift. And then hover the left toes off of the mat. Look back at your toes and see if all 5 of those toes are pointed straight down towards the mat. Your hips should be level. Your toes should point straight down. Good. Firm your outer right hip and hinge your hips open so that your left toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Good. And then relax that right hip. Let the hips come back parallel with your mat, toes turned down. Firm right hip. Hinge the hips open like a door. Exhale, close it down. Inhale to open. Keep that top leg firm. Reach out through the ball of that left foot. Exhale, close it down. Good. Inhale, open. Bring your left foot down to the mat. We might take this right foot out to the side a little bit more. Inhale to reach left hand up high. Gate pose. Good. Root down into your right hand. Press strongly into the outer edge of your left foot and the top of your right shin. And then maybe this top hand goes all the way overhead for more of a side stretch. Stay here, or shift your weight into your bottom hand and lift your left foot off of the mat. Stay here, or reach back and catch your foot for a little baby chapasana. We might not be able to fully reach that foot. It's okay to just be here, reaching for it, pulling the foot towards your hand. Even if you don't make contact, you're getting all of the benefits of the pose and building strength. Exhale, release the foot gently if you have it. Everyone bring hand and foot back down to the mat. Tabletop pose. Beautiful. Re-extend that left leg. And then bring your left knee in towards your chest. Round your spine. Try to touch your nose to your knee. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, knee to nose. One more. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, knee to nose. Good. Left toes back behind you. Left leg extends. Push down into your hands really strongly. Push the floor away. Lift your right knee off of the mat and pull it in towards your chest. Cat plank. Step your right foot to or towards your hands. Good. So we're in kind of a low lunge. Go ahead and bring the left knee back down towards the mat. Inhale, both hands high. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. One breath here. Exhale, take the hands wide and back behind you. Clasp the hands together if you can. If you can bring the palms towards each other. If the palms are really far apart, then just hold on to opposite elbows. Either way, let the shoulder blades pull together on your back. Let the heart open towards the sky. Good. One more deep breath here. Inhale, release the hands and reach them up high. Exhale to bring the hands down around your front foot, maybe to your blocks. Straighten your front leg any amount. That might just be a little bit. We might come all the way straight. But really, no matter how straight the leg is, focus on pulling your right hip back and sending your left hip forward. So if you have a really bent right leg, but you're working on that hip action, then you're just perfect. Send the heart forward a little bit for a long spine, or round your spine and fold in towards the leg more. Yogi's choice. Inhale, bend into the knee, reach the heart forward. Exhale one more time. Start to straighten that front leg. Good. Inhale, come forward. Set your blocks off to the sides. Plant your hands around that front foot. Press down really strong. Tuck your back toes to lift your back knee. And then right back the way we came. Lift your right foot. Bring the knee in towards the chest. And then bring the knee back down for a tabletop pose. Left knee comes beside it. Take your hips back to your heels. Find a child's pose. Inhale, come back up, tabletop. This time, right toes extend behind you, long right leg. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Pull up through your low belly. Use your inner leg line to lift your right toes off of the mat. Look back at your right toes and make sure they're all facing straight down towards your mat. Good. Then firm your outer left hip. Hinge your hips open towards the side of your mat. Your right hip stacks on top of your left hip. Exhale, close it down. Inhale, hinge open. Exhale, close. Inhale, right toes turn towards the right. Exhale, close it down. One more. Inhale, open the hips. Bring your right foot down to the mat. Seal the whole sole of your right foot down. The left shin may turn at an angle. Inhale, right hand up high. Good. Option to stay here. Option to shift the weight slightly forward. Lift the right foot off of the mat. Really reach through the ball of that right foot. Get your side body long. Option to bend the right knee and reach back for the little bind here. If the hand and the foot meet together, kick your foot into your hand and pull your hand back into your foot. More action here will get you a better stretch. Wherever you are, one more deep breath. As you exhale, if you have the grip, gently release. Everyone bring hand and foot back to the mat. Turn back around like a tabletop. Keep that right leg extended. And then on your next exhale, bring right knee in towards your nose. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, out long. Exhale, knee to nose. Good. Inhale, take it out long, and then bring the toes down to the mat. Root down strongly into your hands. Lift your left knee off of your mat in towards your chest. Step your left foot to or towards your hands. Bring your right knee down. Inhale, both hands high. Good. Check in with your breath. Exhale, take your arms wide and behind. Maybe a clasp if we're clasping. Clasp the opposite way that you did last time. It'll probably feel a little bit strange. You'll have your other index finger on top. Or just hold opposite elbows. Reach the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the heart. Legs stay nice and strong here, standing down into that front heel. Inhale, release the hands and reach them up high. Exhale, hands come down around the front foot. Maybe find your blocks. Start to straighten that front leg any amount, pulling the left hip back, sending the right hip forward. Option to stay with spine long and extended, or round the spine and fold in. Inhale, bend into the front knee. Exhale, one more time, start to straighten. Left hip moves back. Inhale, come forward, bend into the front knee. Set your blocks off to the sides. Press down into your hands really strong. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Right back the way we came. Lift that left foot off of the mat. Pull the knee into your chest. And then set the knee down for a tabletop pose. Good. Exhale, take the hips back to the heels. Child's pose just for a breath. Inhale, come forward to table. And then all the way down onto your belly. Salambhasana. We're going to take the hands right by the ribs. Keep the weight in the hands very light. Pull your elbows towards the sides of your body. Lift your shoulder heads away from the floor and pull your shoulder blades together on your back. This might be enough. We might start to root the pinky edges of the feet down. Roll the inner thighs up towards the sky. Expand your low back as you drop your sacrum down to the floor. And then use your core to lift your heart forward and up. 3 breaths here. Exhale, release down. Press down into the hands, rise back up to tabletop, and then root more into your right hand and your right knee. Lift your left knee and your left hand off of the mat, and then roll yourself all the way back around to that reverse tabletop pose. We might need to do a little crab walk back onto our mat. Good. One little lift of the hips here. Exhale, set the hips down to the mat. Pull up through your low belly. Bring your hands to the fronts of your shins and press the hands into your shins to use a little bit of traction. Stretch your spine nice and long. Preparing for Navasana, boat pose. Start to walk your toes a little bit closer to your hips. And we might come up onto the tippy toes here. We can stay right here. We might keep the feet down and bring the hands together at the heart. And again, we can stay right here. On your next exhale, bring your left elbow to or towards your right thigh. Inhale to center. Exhale, right elbow, left thigh. Inhale, center. This feels pretty good. We might continue and lift the toes off of the mat. A little work for our obliques here. Let's do maybe 2 more on each side. You can always come back to a previous version. Inhale, find center. Exhale, bring the arms around the legs. Let the spine round and hug in. Good. And then find your way to downward facing dog. Maybe we take a little rock and roll and find our way there. In your down dog, find any little movements or wiggles that feel good. We might pedal the feet out a little bit, take some side stretches. Eventually find some stillness. Root your hands down nice and strong. Relax the outer edges of your collarbones away from each other. And reach from your outer armpits down into your hands. Extend your hips up and back. Let the backs of your knees soften. And release your heels to or towards your mat. Give a little lift up through your low belly. One more deep breath here. From down dog, walk your feet as wide as your mat, and then start to walk your hands back towards your feet until your heels can reach closer to the floor. If there's no way that's happening for you, grab your blanket and set it underneath your heels so that they still have something to root down onto. And then take your left hand to your outer right shin or thigh. Use that traction to create a twist as you look underneath your armpit up towards the ceiling. Reach your hips back equally. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Release the left hand down. Bring the right hand to your left shin or thigh or ankle. Once again, twist to the side. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more like that. Release the right hand down. Walk your hands forward for a regular downward facing dog. Walk your feet hip width apart. Put a big bend in your knees. Look forward at your hands. Walk or step your feet to your hands at the top of your mat. On your inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. Firm your belly. Stretch the crown of your head forward. Exhale, round the spine, fold in. One deep breath here. Full breath out. Inhale, rise all the way up. Bring the hands to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, reach your hands up high. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, touch the ground. Step both of your feet to the back of your mat and find downward facing dog. Deep breath in your down dog. Slow breath out. On your next inhale, reach your right heel up towards the sky. Bend your right knee. Open your hip so that your right hip stacks on top of your left hip. Squeeze your right heel in towards your butt and reach your right knee and your right hand away from each other. Then lift your left armpit away from the mat. One more deep breath in. Exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. On your next inhale, rise up for crescent pose. Good. Settle into your crescent here. On your next exhale, take your hands to the top of that right thigh and press down into the right thigh to lift the right low belly away from your right thigh. Then stretch your left hand forward. Come into a little bit of a diagonal lunge. Keep the lift of your right low belly. You might reach into that left hand so strongly that you start to find a little twist here. We can stay here. We might bring the outside of the left hand to the outside of the right thigh. And then this might start to slide down. We might find the palms come together. Press the palms into each other. Press your left forearm into your right thigh to find a twist, reaching your heart closer to your thumbs. Press your right knee back into your left arm. Good. Inhale, crescent pose. Turn your back heel down like warrior two. Spin your arms out wide. Good. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Side angle pose. Right forearm to the right thigh, backhand overhead. Spin your back heel up. We find that diagonal crescent lunge. Root down into the right thigh to lift the right low belly. Find a twist. Maybe we just stay here. That's totally okay. Maybe hands come together, your choice. Keep the back leg nice and strong. Inhale, spin all the way to warrior two. Next inhale brings you to reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Side angle pose. One last time, diagonal crescent. And twist. Good, just a breath here. Warrior two. Reverse. Warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Send your hips back, back, back as you reach your right hand forward. Bring the hand down to the shin, thigh, maybe a block here. Back hand goes overhead, triangle pose. Inhale, warrior two. Sweep your back hand forward, come up on the ball of your back foot, crescent pose. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot, chair pose at the top of your mat. Exhale, straighten your legs, bring your hands to your heart, deep breath in. Good. Inhale, sweep the hands up high. Sink your hips down and back, chair pose. Exhale, plant your hands. Step both feet to the back of your mat. Find downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left heel, towards the sky. Bend your left knee. Open your hips off towards the left. Send your left knee and your left hand in opposite directions. Lift your right armpit away from your mat. Exhale, close your hips. Take your left foot in between your hands. Inhale, crescent. Settle in here, get the legs nice and strong. Exhale, bring the hands to the top of your left thigh. Root down to lift up through your left low belly. So we're making space in between our leg and our hip here. Then reach right hand up and forward, little diagonal lunge. Bring back of right hand to the outside of the left leg. We might stay here. We might slide that right arm down and then find that prayer twist. Inhale to crescent and all the way back, warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Inhale. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Continue this around. Turn the back foot up. Find that twist. Inhale, warrior two. Reverse. Side angle. And twist. Inhale all the way back. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose. Deepen the hips back. Elongate the sides of the body. Then bring the left hand down. Top hand towards the sky. Firm through your core and send your tailbone into your back heel. Inhale, warrior two. Crescent pose. Step your back foot forward, chair pose. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, touch the ground. Step both feet to the back of your mat for plank pose. Get your plank nice and strong. And then root into your left hand. Spin onto the outer edge of your left foot for side plank Vashisthasana. Options here. Left shin can come down kind of like that variation we did earlier. We might keep the feet staggered. We might stack right foot on top of left foot. Right hand can come to the hip or reach all the way up and overhead. Good. From here, option to take your right foot and step it just behind your left calf. And then turn your heart more towards the ceiling. Reach your right hand over your head and lift your hips. This is called Kamatkarasana, which is the ecstatic unfolding of the enraptured heart. Exhale, come all the way back around, plank pose, and downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel towards the sky. Bend your knee, open your hips. Exhale, close the hips. Come forward to plank, bring your left knee in towards your nose. Exhale, reach it back up in downward facing dog. Exhale, plank pose, left knee to the outside of your left arm. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, left knee to nose. Step it forward. And then turn your back foot down at about a 45-degree angle for warrior one. Bend deeply into your front knee. Inhale to upright the torso. Take a moment here to settle in. Reach from your right low belly into your right heel. And then from your right low belly up into your arms. Maybe the hands clasp and reach up. Exhale, take the arms wide and back behind you. Maybe a clasp, maybe opposite elbows.
If hands are clasped, press your palms together, bring your elbows closer together, and then send your clasped hands down your back leg. Keep your legs exactly the same. Just hinge at your hips for a forward fold, humble warrior. Send your clasped hands up and overhead as you tuck your chin in towards your chest. Continue to pull your outer left hip towards the center of your mat. On your next exhale, release your hands down to your mat. Plant your right hand. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. We can take a twist right here. Notice the outer edge of my back foot is still down on the mat. We might start to lift the left hand away from the left thigh and reach it up high for dragonfly pose. Exhale, bring your top hand down next to your bottom hand, and then bring the hands together at your heart, firm through your belly, pivot on your feet, and shift your weight to your back foot, bending into that back knee. Straighten your front leg for half squat Skandasana. Good. Inhale, pivot back forward, plant your hands, take your front foot to the back of your mat, plank pose. Vashisthasana on the second side. Shift your weight to the right hand. Pivot your feet. Same options here. We can always bring the bottom leg down. Top hand, left hand can either come to the hip or go all the way up high. Option to step your left foot behind your right calf for Katemangostar, lifting the hips, lifting the heart. Exhale all the way back around. Downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left heel or right heel up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Exhale, close the hips, step your right foot in between your hands. Turn your back heel down for warrior one. Deeply bend your front knee. Inhale to rise all the way up. Hands can come to the hips as you get settled here. Reach from your left low belly into the outer edge of your left foot. And from your left low belly up into your hands. Maybe the hands clasped together for a little bit more stretch in the side body. Exhale, take the hands out wide and then behind. Opposite elbows or hands clasp. The opposite way that you did last time, the weird way. Reach the hands down your back leg. Open your heart towards the sky. Keep your legs exactly the same, really nice and strong. Hinge at your hips. Fold forward to the inside of your front leg for humble warrior. Drop the crown of your head towards your mat. Option to lift your hands off of your low back and send them up and overhead. Seal both feet down equally. Pull your outer right hip to the center of the mat. Exhale, release the hands down. Plant your left hand, bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Take a little twist. Option to stay here. Option to reach the right hand up towards the sky, dragonfly pose. Feel the space between your right hip and your right shoulder getting longer. Exhale, bring the right hand down to the inside of the foot. Bring the hands together at the heart as you lift up through the low belly. Pivot on the feet, Skandasana. Exhale, shift the weight forward. Plant the hands, step both feet back. Bring your knees down to the mat, and then take your hips back to the heels for a child's pose. Option to keep the arms outstretched or to bring the hands back by the feet. Breathe deeply, slowing down your exhales. On your next inhale, reach your hands forward if they were by your feet. Press down into the hands to tuck your toes under, and then lift your hips for downward facing dog. Settle into your down dog. On your next inhale, reach your left heel to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Option to take the left foot to the floor. Maybe we start to stretch out that left leg. Turn the right foot down to the mat, and then lift your right hand up to the sky. Maybe this stays at the hip, that's okay too. Fallen triangle pose. Lift the hips away from the mat. Root your left hand down nice and strong. Exhale, hand comes down. Turn your back heel up. Lift that left leg all the way back up, downward facing dog. Good. And then bring it all the way behind so that left knee is bending. You're opening your hips. And then maybe it comes all the way down to the floor and you flip yourself over for that Katemangostar. Heart opening pose. Inhale, come back around, downward dog. Exhale, bring your knees down to the mat. Little child's pose. Inhale, find downward dog. As you inhale next, reach your right heel towards the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Maybe we bring the foot down. Maybe we straighten it out. Lift the left hand, spin the left foot down. Fallen triangle. Exhale, hand comes down. Bring right leg back up towards the sky. Bend the right knee. Open the hips. Maybe that right foot starts to get heavy and comes down to the left side of your mat. Flip yourself over. Katemangostar. Exhale all the way back around. Downward dog. Set your knees down. And then come all the way down onto the belly. Bring the elbows underneath your shoulders. Sphinx pose. So press all 10 fingertips down into your mat or your floor. See if you can press even your wrists down. Your whole forearm. Root your elbows down. And then see if you can melt your heart forward in between your arms while keeping the strength of the arms pressing out of the elbows. So that we're not collapsing in the shoulders here. There's a lot of space between the shoulders and the ears. Rest your gaze just a few inches forward of your fingers. Good. Keep your elbows where they are, right underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands together in a clasp. You can tuck your pinky fingers sort of one on top of the other instead of staggered, and that'll let you get a nice seal down on the mat. tuck your toes under. Either press down into your knees or firm your belly nice and strong. Lift straight up into a forearm plank from here. Firm your mid-back, your low back, and then press your elbows down into the mat to lift your heart. Good, nice strong inhale here. We're just adding some strength to the core and neutralizing the spine a little bit. Good, exhale, set the knees down, and then take your hips back to your heels, find a child's pose. Good, on your next inhale, find your way to a seat on your mat, in whatever way feels right for you. If you like a blanket under you as you sit, you might grab that. And we'll take the legs straight out in front of us. We're going to do a modification of Dandasana staff pose. So go ahead and put a generous bend in your knees. And just plant the heels down onto the mat. And then again, kind of like we did in that Navasana boat pose early on in the practice, use the hands on the shins, press the hands into the shins, and even the shins back into the hands a little bit. And get the spine nice and long, reaching out of the pelvis, almost like you're telescoping your waist and your ribs out and up. Good, and then from here, you can take a little grip on the backs of the thighs and just start to meet the belly to your legs. And if that means you need to bend a little bit more, go ahead and do that. If you've got a nice strong seal here, you might reach for the feet. And then if this feels pretty good, you might start to walk the legs out a little bit longer, as long as you can keep that connection of the belly to the thighs. This is really where these deep, deep forward folds begin, is this connection. So instead of just straightening our legs out and reaching and possibly, hurting the low back or stretching things that shouldn't be stretched without support, we're going to give ourselves a lot of support. Meet the belly and the thighs together and just let this forward fold feel really good. You can let the head and the neck just relax. We'll be here for a few breaths, so find somewhere that's comfy, where you can breathe. As you start to relax, you might find that you can walk the legs a little bit more, just centimeter by centimeter. And as you breathe here, you can really feel the breath moving through the body. You can feel the belly start to press into the thighs. We have a little bit more sensation in the back body here. And see if, like we did at the beginning, you can spread your low back, right to left, left to right. So it gets really wide. And if you imagine your inner leg line sort of falling down towards the floor, so there's a little bit of internal rotation in your legs, you might feel that low back expand and soften even a little bit more. Good. Inhale, go ahead and just slowly rise all the way back up. And then bring your soles of the feet together. And this might be another good place for blocks or your block alternatives. Try to be unconcerned with how close your feet are to your hips, and just let them be in somewhere that's comfortable with the soles of the feet together. Hopefully your block alternatives, you have some sort of different heights you can use, and just set them somewhere supportive under the legs. So they might work at an angle like that. We might just have something flatter like a book or something if you have that. Just make sure it can support both your thigh and your shin here so that both sides of the leg have something to root down into. And a lot of times in yoga we think about using props as sort of a crutch or a sign that you're not very good or something like that. So silly, all of these stories that we tell ourselves. But really, blocks are a great tool to use because particularly in positions like this, where we have parts of the body that are unsupported, basically the muscles, if we leave them hanging, all of these muscles are contracting to hold the body in place, to protect us. If we give it a little support, that tells all of those muscles, oh, it's okay to relax. I can let go. And then we actually get a deeper stretch. So use the blocks and make the legs just a tiny bit active here like we did at the beginning. And just give a gentle, gentle press of the legs into the blocks. You might find that that creates some space so that the spine can get a little bit longer. This is another sort of key to forward folds. We think about them in the upper body so much, the upper body moving forward. But in order for that to happen, we have to kind of get the legs out of the way. If we can send the legs down and away, we make more space for the rest of the body to hinge forward. So at home, you might just be sitting straight up. You might take a forward fold. You might be one of those people who just loves this and can go straight forward. You might take the hands behind and give a little press and just start sort of a lean forward with some support here. So lots of options wherever you are. Take about 3 really deep, really slow breaths. Good. On your next inhale, rise all the way back up. Remove your blocks. Help your knees back together. And then take your legs out long. And then bend your left knee. Bring your left heel in towards your hips. Option to stay here. Option to step that left foot over the right leg. And then Matsyendrasana twist. Again, we're going to use our shin to traction the spine long. With that length, we're going to take a little spiral towards the left. Wrap the right arm around that left leg. The left arm might come out behind us to support. We'll only be here for maybe 2 breaths. Exhale, unwind. And go ahead and switch sides, extending the left leg, bending the right leg. Maybe we step it over. Extend through the spine and then twist to the right. Left arm wraps around that right knee. Right hand has the option to support in the back. Just giving a little extra stretch here for the outer legs. Inhale back to center. Extend that right leg. Move the blanket if you have it. And just make sure all of your props are out of your way. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat and gently, gently lower the spine all the way down. Extend your legs out long once the back is on the floor. And just take a breath to kind of feel into the body. Notice any physical sensations. Notice the states of your breath, of your thoughts. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Option to take Apanasana with the knees just together, right in towards the chest. Option to take a happy baby by turning the knees out and then pressing the soles of the feet towards the sky. You might grab the backs of your hamstrings, maybe your shins, maybe your feet, wherever you're grabbing. Just make sure that the full spine, including your shoulders and your neck, can rest down to the floor. So if you're holding your feet and your whole back is off the mat like me, just take a lower grasp on the legs. Or again, just Apanasana, knees into the chest. Just a few breaths here. We might take a little rock from side to side. Good, and then as you exhale, slowly and gently let the legs go out long on the mat. Finding your version of a Shavasana. That might mean grabbing your blanket or your pillow and giving yourself a little pillow on your mat. You might roll your blanket and place it under the knees, particularly if you feel the low back a lot in this pose. You can also always bend the knees and just have the soles of the feet on the floor. That can give some relief to the low back. Let the arms come down by the sides of the body with your palms facing up. Maybe the eyes can just start to flutter closed. And see if you can just let go, knowing that in this moment there's absolutely nothing that you need to do. All that you need to do is let go. Releasing the muscles of the feet, and the palms of the hands. Relaxing the muscles of the face, the forehead, the ears, the jaw. Letting everything just melt down into the floor, knowing that the floor and your mat will hold you up. You're welcome to rest here in Shavasana as long as you'd like. If you feel like your rest is complete, start to expand your breath, allowing your inhales and your exhales to become longer. And start to bring some small movements into the body. And then eventually let the knees bend. Gently roll to one side. And use the strength of your arms to press yourself up. And just find a comfortable seat on your mat, maybe on top of your blanket. And let yourself, for this last moment or two, just continue to stay in that kind of soft, slow place.
The moments that we can stay soft and slow are so few and far between in our world. And place your hands somewhere on your body that feels comfortable to you, maybe on tops of the thighs, maybe the belly, maybe the heart, maybe the hands meet together at the heart. And just thank yourself for the great work that you did today. Thank your body for all of the wonderful things that it does for you every single day. And then take a moment just to send a good thought to someone in the world. Maybe that's someone that you know. Maybe it's a stranger that might need a good thought today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope wherever you are, you're happy and healthy. Namaste.